This is it, the final part of the greatest escape with Fulham FC, and amazingly we are still in with a chance of staying in the Premier League with 2 games remaining, but we are still in a precarious position and defeat in the first game could see us drop to the Championship. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to the final part of the greatest escape with Fulham FC, where we took over a team at the bottom of the Premier League on transfer deadline day at the end of January and had just a couple of months to try to keep them in the top flight. The last time you were with me, we just picked up a 0-0 draw against Brentford and were 11 points adrift from safety at the bottom of the Premier League. Well, since then, things have improved. I did say that one win, I think, would spark us into life. Get a couple of goals, get a decent victory and go on a bit of a run. I held a team meeting and we picked up a victory. And since the last episode, we've won 6 games in 11. And we are within touching distance of safety, but it's still not in our hands. If you look at our schedule, our fixture list, our results, whatever you want to call them, we beat Everton, Wolves and Leicester. 3 wins in 3 games after the last episode. Like I said, we held a team meeting, things picked up, we got that victory, and it just sort of sparked us into life a little bit, and we were playing brilliantly. Then against Liverpool at home, we started off brilliantly. We were in control. We had a goal disallowed, and then they got a penalty, which was saved by Sergio Rico. But we couldn't keep up in the second half, and they took full advantage and ended up winning 2-0. We then beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away, drew away to Southampton, and then got a 1-0 victory over Crystal Palace at home. Things were looking up again. We pulled ourselves out of the relegation zone, then lost away to Leeds 2-0. Then a phenomenal victory at home to Manchester City. We went 2-0 up. They pulled it back to 2-2 and looked like they were going to nick a winner at the end. But the highlight come on and Bobby Decordova-Reid scored the goal. 87th minute winner. We beat Manchester City. Things were looking up. But in the last 2 games, we've lost to Chelsea and West Ham. We've conceded 6 and only scored 1. So it's not great form going into the closing stages of the season. In today's episode, we take on Tottenham away and then Nottingham Forest at home. And the league situation looks like this. Brighton are already relegated. Brentford sit 19th with 31 points. We are 18th with 32 points. Leicester have 33. Nottingham Forest have 37. Bournemouth could still technically be relegated on 38 points, but they only need a single point from their last 2 games or us to drop a point. So, as it stands, if we lose in the first game against Tottenham today and Leicester win, we're relegated. If we draw and Leicester win, it will go down to goal difference if we win and they lose on the last day of the season. It's like basically what we need to happen is we need Leicester to lose and us to at least pick up a point in this next game to put it in our hands come the final day of the season. But if we look at Leicester's fixture list, they play Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are the team 1 place above them. So whoever wins that pretty much will be safe or could be safe. So that's going to be a tense battle. While we take on a Tottenham Hotspur side who need to win to guarantee themselves a place in the top 7. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be extremely tough. But we're going to go all guns blazing. We're going to give it our best and we're going to hope that we can stay in the Premier League. And the team for the game against Tottenham Hotspur is Rico in goal, Tete, Vezo, Ream, Robinson, Paulinho, Reed, Nardoni, Decordova-Reid, Mitrovic and Wilson as the advance forward on attack. We are playing a 4-4-2 diamond narrow. We are playing with a balanced mentality. We've played attacking most of the time. It seems to work at home, playing attacking. But it hasn't worked in the last couple of games and we've conceded 6 and only scored 1. So I've gone to a balanced mentality to start this game. We'll see how we start off and then change accordingly. And here we go. We're underway. We're away. We're the away team. We haven't got the greatest of away records, to be fair. And we're playing a team who need to win to get themselves a place in Europe. So it guarantees them a place in Europe with a win. So we are definitely on the back foot here. All I'm hoping for is that we put in a really, really good performance and try not to fold. There's a ball over the top to Harry Kane, and it's 1-0 inside 13 minutes. Emerson Royal played it to Kulusevski, back to Royal, played it to Skip. Skip's ball over the top. Kane beat the offside trap and finishes well, and that is probably the worst start we could hope for. We haven't had a shot yet, so let's go attacking and try and get back into this game. We still haven't had a shot. This ain't a team that are fighting relegation here, is it? Like, we need to do something to try and get ourselves on the score sheet. Reed cuts it out to Wilson. Wilson's pass is poor, but deckled over Reed is in here. Oh! The defender tracked back. He lost the ball, but he got back. I can't remember who the defender was. I didn't see, but gave the ball away to Deckled over Reed. Deckled over Reed was through, and the defender got back and put in a fantastic block to prevent the scores being levelled up. And as it stands, we have reached half time. We're being totally outplayed, and we're behind 1-0 on the score sheet. Right, we've changed things around a little bit. I've gone a bit more direct in passing, and I've told the players to get stuck in. But we're still not doing anything. Taking Wilson off for Cabano, because he's playing poorly. Shout a little bit more encouragement. But Tottenham have got a corner. Romero back to Hoberg, wherever you pronounce it. So over the top, Emerson Royal back to Dyer. Skip. Finds Richarlison. Vezo cuts it out but clears it. We're just clearing the ball and it's going straight back to a Tottenham player. Sergio Rico will claim it. Goes long over the top. Romero heads it out. Mitrovic deckled over Reed. Oh, and he has it taken off of him again. We literally can't do anything with this ball. Harry Kane into Kulusevski, and it's 2-0. We haven't done anything in this game. We've been absolutely atrocious. And there's a penalty for a push on Skip. And yeah, this game is perhaps the worst performance we've put in. I know we lost 3-0 recently to Chelsea. And we lost to West Ham as well, conceding 3 goals. We've conceded 3 goals for the 3rd game in a row. And it's not ideal. If we look around the grounds as well. Oh, Leicester haven't played yet. Leicester haven't played, so we don't know how it's going to go with them. But that is Tottenham 3, Fulham 0, and we have 1 foot in the door of the Championship after that. Right, here's the situation we are faced with. We are at home to Nottingham Forest on the last day of the season. As you can see, we are 2 points adrift of Leicester City. Our goal difference is 2 goals worse. So, we need to win. We need to hope that Leicester City fail to win. And then we need to score quite a few goals as well. If we win and Leicester lose, we are safe. Unless Brentford win by 3 more goals than what we do. But they're away to Everton, so they've got a tougher game than what we have. If we fail to win, we're relegated. A defeat or a draw, no matter what happens in the Leicester game, we're relegated. If we win and Leicester win, Leicester stay up, we're relegated. If we win and Leicester draw, then it will go to goal difference. So basically, we need to win no matter what. It's win or relegation for Fulham. Ruben Vezo misses this crucial final game of the season, so Adarabioyo comes in for him. Even though Ream and Adarabioyo don't have the greatest of partnerships in defence, I'm hoping that they can manage to work it out today. Carlos Vinicius comes in place of Harry Wilson. Nardoni moves to a centre midfielder on attack. We are playing with an attacking formation We're lowering the tempo slightly. Don't want to go like too fast and end up them nicking one on the counter. I've dropped the defensive line a little bit lower to try and avoid those balls over the top. And basically, it's shit or bust for Fulham in this game. This is it. Win or bust. That's the situation we face. And we need to get the victory. We'll keep checking back on that and seeing how we're getting on. But let's see how the players are doing first. We seem to be on the front foot to begin with. We've had more shots, but it looks like it's going to be the first highlight. It's going to be a Nottingham Forest attack. And Johnson hits the woodwork. And it's out for a goal kick. Sergio Rico. Long kick. Reed. Nardoni. To Mitrovic. Through. Carlos Vinicius. It's 1-0. Carlos Vinicius. He's been injured the last couple of games and has had to miss some football. I've brought him back into the starting lineup today. And he's repaid me by opening the scoring. Nardoni, Mitrovic picked. It was nearly Bowley. Mitrovic's pass was cut out by Bowley, but Bowley didn't deal with it properly. Vinicius steals it off him and smashes it home. And we reach half-time. It's Fulham 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Carlos Vinicius with the only goal of the game so far. And I don't know what's happening elsewhere, so I can't say if we're currently in the safety zone or not. We have a look around the grounds. You will see that Leicester City are currently losing 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And as it stands, if scores stay the same, we will survive in the Premier League. Everton are also beating Brentford 1-0, so that takes Brentford out of the equation. But as it stands, Fulham are staying in the Premier League. But we've got to see out this game. We've got to guarantee the victory for us. And we've got to hope that Leicester don't come back into their game. Right, Forest are going to look to build an attack from the back. They've gone all the way back to the keeper. But Kenny Tetty cuts it out. Adebayo to Paulinho to Reed. Reed gives it away, but Paulinho mops up behind him. Nardoni finds Robinson. Goes back to Ream. Adebayo's long ball is cut out, but Reed keeps it alive. Mitrovic again tries to keep it alive. It's all a little bit scrappy. Mitrovic and Vinicius. Yes! Come on! Carlos Vinicius, 2-0. It was all a little bit scrappy. He headed there and knocked out here and headed there. Mitrovic's header went to no one there. But Renan Lodi didn't deal with it. Mitrovic went and took it back off of him, crosses it to an unmarked Vinicius in the middle of the box, and Carlos Vinicius makes it Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. And if we go back around the grounds, you will see that Leicester are still losing. But here's another highlight. Reed, Mitrovic, Nardoni, Paulinho, shoots, it's saved. There's been a collision, and I'm not sure who come off the worst there. Robinson, Paulinho, heads it over, and yes! Carlos Vinicius gets his hat-trick. He comes back into the team today after missing a few games with injury, and he wasn't playing that well when he was playing, to be fair. But Paulinho's crossover, Carlos Vinicius outjumps everyone. Henderson doesn't deal with it, and it's Fulham 3, Nottingham Forest 0. We're bringing Pereira on for Nardoni. Nardoni got a knock. We're going to just stop for a second and see that Leicester are still only losing 1-0. So as it stands, if they can score, then it will go all level and we'll be level on goal difference as well. So it's still squeaky bum time. We're keeping an eye on these scores. We need Leicester to lose. We've reached 12 minutes left. Forest are going to come on the attack. So ball over the top, and Adebayo should deal with that quite easily. Carlos Vinicius to Andreas Pereira. Through Mitrovic. He's one-on-one with a goalkeeper, and it's 4-0! Alexander Mitrovic. muscled his way through the defence. Carlos Vinicius found Andreas Pereira. Pereira, a little ball through, looked like he was going to be knocked out, but Mitrovic muscled his way onto it. Shoots, Henderson got a hand to it, but couldn't keep it out. And this is an absolutely fantastic performance. And if we look down there, Wolverhampton Wanderers have scored a second goal, and we are going to be safe. Andreas Pereira with a free kick. Henderson tips it past the post, out for a corner. The corner's cleared. Paulinho to Reed. Reed over the top. Andreas Pereira tries to go for the glory and ends up putting it in the stands. But Leicester are losing 2-0. And as we approach stoppage time, unless something dramatic happens at one of these games, we are going to 3-0 to Wolves. It's 3-0 to Wolves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. We have survived. And Carlos Vinicius misses out on getting his fourth goal, hits the post in the dying seconds. After episode 2 of this series, this little mini-series, I thought that we had no chance whatsoever. But we have pulled out the greatest performance of the season, won 4-0 on the day that matters. And as you can see, we have pulled off the greatest escape, and we have stayed in the Premier League by a single point on the last day of the season after Leicester lost 3-0 at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Brentford didn't keep themselves in the equation with a 3-0 defeat away to Everton. And Fulham remain a Premier League side. And the series was a success. Right, everyone, there's nothing else left to say, but we did it. Yes. We have managed to stay in the Premier League with Fulham. When I started this series, it was just a little idea. I know that there's loads of them where people that take on teams bottom at Christmas or whatever and try to keep them in the Premier League. And I thought, let's make it a little bit tougher. We'll take over the team bottom of the table on transfer deadline day at the end of January. We'll have one day to try and sign players if we need them. That's what I did. And we were a long way adrift at the bottom of the table when I took over. We went on a decent run of form. Then it tailed off and the wheels came off quite a bit. Lost 3 games in a row, conceding 3 in each game. And it looked like it was done and dusted for Fulham after that Tottenham game. If Leicester had beaten Nottingham Forest, it would have been over. But they only managed to pick up a point. Gave us a little bit of hope going into the last day of the season. And the players put in a performance worthy of staying in the Premier League. It was Fulham 4, Nottingham Forest 0. And we have managed to pull off the greatest escape. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and this series, please do hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section if more shorter series are what you want to see. Let me know a few ideas for them as well if you want. And I will hopefully see you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.